Thank you, Marilyn, and thank all of you for being here. It's my privilege and honor to be here today to offer a few words on behalf of my family, my sisters, my brother, my wife, and my children, my nieces and nephew, about my mom and dad and about the general topic of hospice. In the months since the plans for this wonderful facility were formed, we have determined as a family that there really could be no more fitting tribute to mom and dad than a facility like this. And it is certainly proven to be such. Many of you know that mom had a true vocation and calling to hospice and care for the dying. That vocation began in the 50s as she began her nursing career. She actually began it as a visiting nurse in Chicago, providing health care to the underprivileged. It progressed throughout her career when she moved to Jonesboro and began informally caring for family members or church members, friends and others in their home. Whenever they would grow ill and be on their deathbed, mom would just go and take care of them. That progressed through the 70s and 80s when we were able to establish a formal hospice program, the original one of which ended up going by the wayside due to some changes in regulation. But eventually, with a lot of support and encouragement from mom and dad, St. Bernard's and the sisters began the St. Bernard's Hospice. So this is a wonderful and fitting tribute to them. And on their behalf, I must say a few words again. And the first words that I think I need to offer for them are the words, thank you. Thank you to everyone who helped make this wonderful facility a reality. I'd like to single out a few people, though, on behalf of my family. I need to recognize Mr. Owens and Chris Barber for their stewardship of this wonderful organization we know as St. Bernard's, and especially their commitment to hospice care. I also want to thank Barry Ledbetter and Marilyn Hummelstein and all of the campaign volunteers who made this happen. They are the ones that got out in the community and worked to raise the funds to pay for this wonderful facility. And the results are simply astonishing. I also want to share some thanks and inspiration as well with Kevin Hodges, our Vice President of Senior Services here at St. Bernard's, and Tammy Hawkins, the director of our hospice program, and all of our staff and our wonderful volunteers. Our hospice program has done great things in the years since its creation. From humble beginnings, we now have this wonderful place to enhance our work. And I know that together, this organization, and I promise this community, can and will utilize this tool to reach patients and families we were unable to reach before, and to enhance the experience for others. Next, I also must note a group that deserves all the credit but seldom receives it, as they intentionally deflect it. To you, the Sisters of the Olivetian Benedictine Order, I express my most sincere appreciation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This hospice house is really nothing new for you. As we know from Sister Henrietta's wonderful history, St. Bernard's has really been a hospice from its very beginnings over 100 years ago. According to Dr. C.M. Lutterlow's first annual report on patients, 3 of the first 12 deaths experienced at St. Bernard's were, and I quote here, incurables sent to us as simply a good place to die. Well, this hospice house is created for that very purpose and stands in the long shadow of that wood frame building down the street in which Dr. Lutterlow practiced. But it is so much more than a good place to die. This hospice house and the health care ministry of which it is a part is driven by a fundamental belief that all life is a sacred gift from God that must be respected and dignified at every stage and in every venue, irrespective of man-made distinctions such as national boundary or economic status. To use the words of a great contemporary moral leader, Joseph Cardinal Bernardin, this hospice house demonstrates a consistent ethic of life. He analogized this consistent ethic to a seamless garment of life. While distinct, each thread of life is bound together, unbroken. The birth of babies on the 5th floor down the street is inextricably linked to what will happen here. Because you see, hospice is really about people and the lives they represent. Yes, many deaths will occur in this building, but while it is a good place to die, it is more importantly a good place to live. It is a good place for the patients to live their final moments, for families and loved ones to live and share those moments in peace and love, for the committed volunteers and staff to live by fulfilling their vocation of service, and for all of us to live safe in the knowledge that we are part of a community that values life. Hospice knows that death is part of the living process and the continual life journey. Our care is focused on the patient and all the travelers accompanying them on the journey, together with the love they carry and generate in the process. The love which endures the patient's mortal destination of death, and whose echo is grief. This Flo and Phil Jones Hospice House will encourage, facilitate, and well nigh with such a name on the door, demand full-fledged participation in this journey of life by all who enter here. I draw to conclusion with an encouragement to action for all of you here. And I'm echoing some words Marilyn shared a few moments ago. In this encouragement to action, I call upon the spirit and example of Flo and Phil. If you know them, you recognize they were never spoiled by or satisfied with accomplishment. Dad served this institution, St. Bernard's, until his death, in spite of the health difficulties he encountered at the end. As for my mother, even after losing my dad, and easily being in a position to say, I've done enough, it's someone else's turn, took as her very last mortal action on this earth a trip to aid her brother who was in the hospital with a condition that would ultimately take his life. If Flo and Phil can accomplish a lifetime of good and still keep going, then so can all of us here. We have no reason to stop, as there is still much to do. Now that you've helped, this community has helped in creating this facility, I ask for all of your help in making sure that those who have need of it have access to it. Do you know that Craighead County ranks only about 33rd in the state in terms of reaching its hospice eligible patients? 4 of the counties in our service area are in the top 10 most underserved. Yes, hospice has done great things, but we have more work to do and can only progress with your help, with the help of each and every one of you. If you know someone who might be in need of hospice, don't be shy about suggesting it. I especially implore any of my physician friends here today to encourage and aid in the hospice effort. Your referrals are the most successful way we can reach families in need. And let's remember, the greatest benefits of hospice are achieved when there is adequate time for the program to do its work. The ideal time for our involvement is when the prognosis is for several months of remaining life. With your help, I know that in time we will see Craighead and its neighbors at the very top of our state list. Let me close by again honoring and thanking our supporters for getting to this point together, to this community for making this happen together. It is not this building that impresses me the most, or with which my parents would be most proud. What truly impresses me and pleases them is the collective power of this community, the power to come together and make it happen. I know that Mom and Dad are smiling down today on all of us with pride more in this community, its spirit, effort, and accomplishments than on these bricks or mortar or on the name on that sign out front. In that sense today, we're all members of the Jones family. So I thank you and I honor you all.